we'll launch into the next section. Again, good morning, everyone. Peter Racy here, Foundation Expo 88 YouTube, 4th of March, 2021. And we're in the last section of the boardwalk, and I've put a photo up of it under construction. And I really do think that the Artbuster works made the eating area of the boardwalk quite spectacular. There were a few pieces that were used, and there was also then the man in the bathtub out in the river, and I'm fairly certain that was directly opposite this area here as well for people to look at. So it was a very highly active, highly mentally engaging area. And Lawrie, you did a fantastic job of that boardwalk, and I must say it was a very sad day when they demolished that. But I understand why South Bank did that, and I, love going to it in the new area that they've replaced it with. So, Lawrie, what's your recollections of the boardwalk area as far as landscaping objectives, and everything else goes?
Yeah, it was one of those areas that was a special part of Expo, as you just said, and in the whole process, from that photo behind you right now, from the construction right up, things happened that really added to the magic. And in the case of the construction of it, that was the first thing that I'll never forget, that the contractors who had to go down under that boardwalk and install services like lighting and drainage and all those sort of things, they had to go down with 2 people every time because there were big water rats down there, huge ones, and they had somebody behind them ready to dispatch these rats if they because they were crawling in the mud and everything in hardly any space at all. And so that was something that nobody really relished, going down under the boardwalk in those early construction days because of the big water rats that were there. And then the next thing after that, once we saw what happened at the intertidal zone between high tide and low tide, it was a lovely sight looking over the railing onto this mud twice a day. Right, okay, what we've got to do is cover that with mangroves. So we're able to get thousands of mangrove seedlings from northern Moreton Bay at Beachmere, all approved by the Department of Environment, and they were planted through there so that during Expo and for many years afterwards, you had the mangroves there growing across there so that it was much nicer to look on. And so that really added, I think, to the experience. Without that, it would have been less than optimum for a world exposition. We had to have the very best that we could possibly do wherever that was on site. And the other important thing with the boardwalk was, because it was a place of food and restaurants and so on, and it was closely associated with the adjacent primary industries pavilion, so that we brought down from there, and apart from the palms that you can see behind me, we had other planted areas there that you walked around and through, and they were all with fruiting trees, avocados, Queensland nuts, bananas, sugarcane, avocados, all those sort of interesting plants there that were brought into the site there, so that you were in a part of Queensland's economy in terms of the food and fruits, and so that added to it as well. And also the seafood. Sorry?
And also the seafood, because Gary Balkan, rest his soul's Kookaburra 1 was moored there and is behind your left ear.
Yep, that's right. Yep, there it was. Yeah. So yeah, it was an amazing place, and as you said, it existed for quite a while after Expo, and it's now been replaced with something comparable, I think, and in the far end of the Expo site there now.
Yes, and they actually recycled the boardwalk timber. I never knew this, but it's actually mostly blackbutt timber.
Right.
And so it's got a very long life. And there's a mural that they've created that is now part of the wall to the Queensland Maritime Museum. And I don't know why, but the South Bank Corporation, while they spent a lot of money creating the mural with the Boardwalk timber. They've not put a sign up to actually credit the legacy and or the heritage of the timber mural that you actually look at.
Right. Yeah.
Just another little mystery within the South Bank site.
Yeah. And of course, there was at the end of the boardwalk there, between the Maritime Museum and the boardwalk, was the aquacade. And so that was another important element at that end of the expo site that so many people really enjoyed.
Yes, I mean, that's his favourite aspect of the World Exposition involvement. He just absolutely loved that particular facility. And it actually won a gold platypus, I think, from the Courier Mail. It was so well executed and so well supported.
Yeah, well deserved.
It was. So, Lawrie, thanks again for this morning's 3 interviews. I think we're really moving forward, and it's a great start to the year 2021. And I look forward to catching up when the next suite of papers have been written.
Right, okay, fair enough. That will be good. I look forward to that too. Thanks, Peter.
No doubt around May or June, I suspect. All right, Lawrie, thanks again, and good morning, everyone.